What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my Godzilla comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Godzilla Escape the Deadzone, issue number 2, part of the Kai-Sei Era. I think I've been saying it right. If I've been saying it wrong, somebody please let me know in the comment section down below. But I already covered the main issue of issue 2 of it so far, of the main series. So now I'm covering issue 2 of one of the spin-off series. So this is about the world of the Deadzone. Now, it was briefly mentioned in the mainline books, but the Deadzone is basically kind of this uninhabitable wasteland type area after the fallout of a kaiju attack. So this was in the Pacific Northwest, if I'm not mistaken, and we were focusing on this half-man, half-kaiju who we have been given the name the Wanderer, and he was off in the Deadzone just kind of minding his own business, doing his own thing. Then a kaiju attack happens, and it turned out that the kaijus were being controlled like kids. So kind of similar to Attack on Titan, where Eren Yeager and all sorts of other people like transformed into Titans. This is kind of the same deal where these kids were kind of controlling, like they almost transformed as sorts in these monsters, but there's kind of human inhabiting bodies within them. So very much Attack on Titan-esque with what they got going on there. So instead of Titans, it's kaiju. Although if you count the MonsterVerse, Titans are basically the same thing as kaiju. So yeah. But anyways, so we were also set in Mutant City. We see these people are handed these pamphlets of the Church of Godzilla. That's right. In this comic book, there actually is a Church of Godzilla. I remember seeing memes of a Church of Godzilla over the years, but now there officially is one in a canon Godzilla storyline, which I think is kind of funny, personally. But yeah, so we have these two kids, Glass Eater and Runt are their names, if I'm not mistaken, and they're two siblings. They're taken in by the cults. The Wanderer is taken in as well, and we meet this cult leader known as Mother A, dressed like Mothra. Get it? Mother A, Mothra. It feels like something you'd see out of a 60s Batman thing. Because remember, if you've seen that movie, the Batman the movie, the Penguin buys a pre-atomic submarine, but he goes under the name P.N. Gwyn, and it's just this very obvious how nobody gets it sort of thing. But to me, it's like, okay, that's an obvious connection to Mothra. Mother A, Mothra. Does Mothra exist in this world? I assume so. Otherwise, why would this individual dress up like Mothra? So yeah, it's one of those people. They have Kai-Sei energy. The kaiju guys, the Wanderer's kind of really ticked off about what he's done to the kids and himself. So he breaks free. You see his design here. He's got the hair of a Super Saiyan with the dorsal plates that are similar to Godzilla with the glowing green Kai-Sei energy, but also, yeah, I guess just Godzilla. The Church of Godzilla worships Godzilla, sees them as their savior of sorts, and just kind of looks to him for a higher purpose or calling. But there's some sinister, nefarious things, like there usually is when there involves some sort of crazy cult going on. And the end of the issue is Glass Eater and Runt, the two kids who were able to turn themselves of sorts into kaiju, or at least control them, similar to, like I said, with Attack on Titan, escape further into the Deadzone, and they're about to be chased down. So yeah, that's kind of the issue in a nutshell. We didn't get to learn too much about the Church of Godzilla, but I do think the idea of a cult of sorts forming around the arrival of Godzilla makes sense. These are individuals who have been trapped in the Deadzone, which is basically like an uninhabitable area. Well, not totally uninhabitable, but these are people who have adapted to living in this hostile wasteland of sorts, like this post-apocalyptic world. They're cut off, basically, it seems, from everywhere else where there's nice habitable areas and such. I'm sure Godzilla will be drawn to the Kai-Sei energy at some point. Maybe he comes and attacks them or something. Or we have Lament, the villain from the mainline book, will show up at some point because this church has a stockpile of Kai-Sei energy. So I'm intrigued to learn more about the Deadzone world. It looks like Kumonga is going to be appearing in the next issue. We also got Starship Godzilla, which is part of the Kai-Sei stuff, coming up very soon. It's kind of intriguing because this is really the first time I've had like a shared universe of Godzilla comic books in their own kind of unique comic book world coming out at the same time. So it's kind of unique to kind of cover something like this. For me personally, yeah, I've talked about various crossovers, and I've talked about pretty much most of the MonsterVerse comics and anything else that usually comes out. But for the IDW stuff, I mean, the last true like shared universe of sorts, well, if you can call it that, was Rulers of Earth, which was many years ago. But that was still just one series right after the other. It wasn't like 2 or 3 simultaneous series going on at the same time, which makes this one a little bit more unique and kind of interesting. So I am fascinated to learn a little bit more about the world. I do think with a comic book title Godzilla, you would kind of hope to expect Godzilla physically appear in the issue, but really the extent of Godzilla is just his impact on the world and those worshiping him. And that's kind of what I'm learning more so with this Deadzone thing. I'm hoping Godzilla makes a physical appearance in this thing, because don't advertise yourself as a Godzilla comic book if he's not really going to appear in it. But again, it's Godzilla. Like, Godzilla is a focal point of the story in that he's affected the world, and we have this cult that worships him. But other than that, like, is he really driving the story fully? Yeah, in a way he kind of is, because he's what, like, makes this cult the cult, because they worship him. But everything else, like, is he going to actually, like, physically show up? I'm not sure if he will anytime soon. He's busy with the main Kai-Sei book. But you have a Godzilla comic book, I expect to see Godzilla showing up, like, physically at some point. So if you're looking for that, you might be a little bit disappointed. For me, like I said, I'm fine with it okay for right now, because I'm sure he's hopefully going to show up eventually. I mean, we have Kumonga seemingly showing up next, but if it takes a long time for him to show up, I think that's going to really, like, weigh on people's patience with the stuff there. But again, like, even without Godzilla, there still is kind of some interesting stuff going on with the half-man, half-kaiju stuff. I am keen to learn a little bit more about this world. I think they've crafted something kind of interesting for a Godzilla universe of sorts, and I'm curious to know more about how this cult operates, what sinister purposes they have for abducting these children, and what's going to happen with the Wanderer guy. Is he going to form some family connection with these kids? Are we going to learn more about his past? I'm sure we probably will at some point. And will Godzilla finally show up physically in this thing to maybe stomp on his own church? I think that'd be kind of cool. So, I mean, this is a pretty decent issue overall. Moved by pretty quick, and it gave us the Church of Godzilla in canon, so there's something there. So, yeah, what do you all think of it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with friends, subscribe to the channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. I think I mentioned this was written by Ethan Parker, Griffin Sheridan, art by Pablo Tunica. So there's some interesting ideas at play right here. Mother A, Mothra, yeah, there's some connection there. Will we see the Twin Fairies show up? I don't know. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But I am intrigued. But anyways, I'm rambling on long enough. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.